Welcome to the Rockhound Podcast. This week it's just us again, and we're going to do another themed episode. We'll get to the theme here in a little bit, but first, let's do the welcoming of in and stuff.
And whatnot. Hey, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning into the Rockhound Podcast. We're so happy to see you, and we'd love to know who you are and where you might be tuning in from, joining us doing what things like rock hounding, or are you excavating icebergs, or what? You need to know. And so leave it down there in the comments. And meanwhile, I am Karen out here on the very, very foggy Oregon Central Coast. Who are you today?
I'm Paul, and I know what you did.
Nah. Oh no.
Oh no.
Fittingly ominous this week.
Paul, the money is in the envelope.
And I am Kyle with World of Rockhounds, and that was our introductions and shouts.
Okay.
If you would.
Surely. Thank you. First of all, we would love to thank Feldspar for coming on the show last week. It was so much fun, and we learned so much. We have to have you back. So I hope you'll come back for another podcast. Actually, everybody out there really enjoyed learning about the different feldspars, and I was surprised at how folks were surprised that they didn't know about all the different kinds. So, it is like, you think feldspar, that's a whole show. Yeah, we actually didn't hit it all. So
did I see someone pop in the comments towards the end? Brian?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good time. Unfortunately, since it was such a short podcast, like he popped in and it was over. Oh, he was just, usually we're just, getting warmed up around then. And so, Brian, come back. We'll see you next time. Maybe we should do another crystal one, like a crystal theme, and have Brian on for that.
We could
Brian
absolutely
and
do
Dustin.
Yeah.
We should, yes. That'd be fun.
Dueling crystals. I mean, we just sit back.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. I'm good with that.
Okay, yeah, right. Okay, you guys, the challenge has been made. So sure enough, like I said, Johnny Rockhounding said he knew very little about the different feldspars. Now he feels like he knows a lot, so thank you, he says. And thank you, Johnny Rockhounding, for the feedback. Kyla Abiglen left a lengthy comment. People were chatty, just downright chatty in the comments this time. And highlighted everything, highlighted our different subjects. And so you need to go read that, because
Nice.
It was really very complimentary. So thank you also taking the time, Kayla. And Clear Crystal Vibes, Mary Beth did the same. Very sweet comments. And so we got to go over there and read them, everybody. And then she doesn't know anybody who doesn't like feldspar.
Feldspar is awesome.
True.
I once heard a geologist describe feldspar as pretty neat.
Yep. It's Nick Zentner's favorite mineral, apparently, is K-spar. So yeah, stars and people. Anyways, Crawdad and Rusty, watching from the workbench in southern Oregon, enjoyed learning more about the variety of feldspars and is enjoying the series. So dig in the subjects, and we will get on to ours for tonight very, very soon. Rock and Roll Rockhounding, checking in from Northern Ontario, was wondering if there's a way to stabilize labradorite. Do you guys know? Because he's got a bunch of fractured labradorite, I guess.
I have a few times, actually. CA, thin CA is your best friend when it comes to, like, my owl that I carved. I would not have been able to get through that carving without CA, because it just floods and washes into the cracks, because it's almost thinner than water. And so it really soaks in all the cracks, let it cure, and it holds everything together for you.
Like
I've even heard of some people
type
yeah, exactly. I've even heard some people using not with labradorite, but other fractured stones, of putting it in like apply all of the CA, and then put it in a vacuum chamber, and that sucks all the CA down into the cracks, and then you're golden. You're good to go after that.
Yeah, a lot of things have to be stabilized exactly like that.
Cyanoacrylate is your friend.
It is, guys.
I love that CA. That is a staple.
Just don't love it too much. Like, don't hold it under your nose or anything.
Oh gosh, the burning is so bad. And I absolutely have like coated my hands in the stuff before, and it's not fun.
But not Kyle.
Been
only
there.
2 out of 3 of us can't handle our CA. Oh my goodness.
I have a stain that will never go away in my shop because I spilled a bottle of CA on the carpet.
Ooh, nightmare.
That's never going away. Exactly. Like, that will be there as long as that carpet is there.
That's good. Or maybe longer.
Yeah, exactly.
Really got some staying power.
I've also ruined fossils by accidentally gluing concretions to my bench.
Gotta do it.
Like literally,
forgive me.
Just they drip off, and then it just like literally glued down to the.
Gotta excavate it off of your work.
Yeah, like a perfect little well around.
Okay.
Describe the bench.
Yeah, that's a warning signal. At the front of our fossil show. Yeah. Good little tip there for the workstation. My goodness, a Sandmaker checking in from Delonga, Georgia's, I believe how you'd say that. You can go ahead and throw it in the comments if I macerated that. Enjoyed the bright and shiny rocks. He asked a question about framing schiller in the Oregon sunstones. He was wondering about perpendicular so it peeks out when you move it, or parallel so it becomes the color of the stone. Does anybody want to weigh in before I blurb something out?
I'd like to weigh in, and my weighing in is I also would like the answer to this question.
That's very weighty.
So you two that actually know about Oregon sunstone, educate us.
Cal?
Oh, I mean, I was gonna say it. I just do whatever I want with the stone.
I do what I want.
So I've been doing it right. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, I mean, every stone's gonna be different. Like even with the fire obsidian, I work with the shape of the stone, and I just kind of go with what I have. Even with the rainbow lattice sunstones, I went with what I had and listened to the stone, and it told me whether it wouldn't tell me like physically tell me. It's just I work with the shape of the stone. But
stone listener,
the rock whisperer.
Yeah,
it is nice to have a stone that's big enough though, where like to have it shaped in a manner like if you're gonna have it as a necklace, where you can kind of like if it just moves a little bit to have that chiller effect like right there. But every stone is different.
Yeah, I would definitely concur. When you're sighting your stone, there's a couple different ways with sunstones. Just like how Kyle has shown seeing the fire obsidian in a black bowl in water type thing, you can use wintergreen oil to get a really good look at your sunstone. So you immerse that, and you can look down upon it, but it's nice to have like a little spice bottle or something like that, a small flasky like bottle, and you can look all the way around it. So you're going to see how directional that schiller is. And like there are no real hard rules about like, well, then you cut perpendicular along with, it's gonna go like, I'm color right now, the platelets are lined up this way, I'm schiller, or maybe there's no schiller and it's just color, or maybe it's all schiller and there is no color except for the peach when they're all lit up. So you decide like, do you want it lit up the whole time? And you find that plane, and you move it until probably just like the fire obsidian, you move it until like, yeah, that's probably my face right there. And so unfortunately it's more of you got to see it and come to your conclusion instead of there being just a direct rule like how there are so with tiger's eye or a chatoyant mineral.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was wondering if there was a protocol for that, because I tried faceting some schiller and it's weird. Like
It
you think it's
is.
going to be on the surface, like on the top face of the stone, and then you facet it, and suddenly it's facing sideways, so that it won't ever face once it's in its setting. It's like, thanks, thanks for doing that.
Yeah. And so that's like the imperative is finding that. And let me tell you that a jeweler's loop helps so much because you can see the platelets. If you can get up to, between 20 and 40x, you get a really good look at at how they're suspended in the the rest of the feldspar.
That makes
And
sense.
so, yeah, you can see the strings, it's really cool.
I will put up dang it. I will put up a video of I just recorded a video as you guys are all talking of the
I thought you were
Flintstone
texting.
and the Schiller.
I was like, it's clearly not that important. He's just texting.
Multitasking. I love it. This is so great.
Hanging out with these losers.
I got sunstones here. Sunstones here.
FaceTiming with somebody. That's spectacular. Thank you, Kyle. Let's see. And so hopefully that answers your question a bit, Sam Maker. If you guys have other opinions or you've done different techniques, definitely leave it in the comments. We're all learning, so definitely share. Thank you so much for the question. Dustin popped in with some wonderful news about switching jobs so that he'll have weekends off. So that he can rock on all weekend. So congrats, Dustin. And there was a whole bunch of other things that he said. So the comments are definitely ones to read. There's a whole novel over there. And he's stoked. Sweet Jim, aka JNS Rocks to Gems, his channel, was thanking us for that podcast that he was on, since that was the week before last. And Sweet Jim, that was awesome. We got to have you return very soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, come hang out. Marlene Zenker exclaimed, "Your wire wrapping is just amazing, Kurt." So Kurt, who's not in the room at this exact moment in time,
he can hear us. He knows.
Yes, he always does. So had to include that. Largent 45, City Rock Hounding, Ivan Lopez, and all y'all in the chat getting the good shot on right here, right now. We love you. Keep on rocking, and them's the shouts.
Thank you for the shouts.
Yep.
And now we get into how everyone's week was, and we'll start with Paul.
Oh.
But my week has been madness. It's been crazy. I guess I could go back 2 weeks. I'll keep it short though, because I wasn't here last week. So I went up to Montana Rock Moms and we cut a bunch of rocks, and then I used her wet angle grinder, and it was amazing.
Isn't it fun?
And I need one so freaking bad now.
Yeah.
That was just I need one. Other than that, was that last week? No, that was 2 weeks ago. I was wrong. I was not. That was, gosh, that might have been 3 weeks ago at this point. We went way over to Western Montana and did some rock hunting up in the mountains and got some awesome blue chalcedony and sea maggots. So nice, so pretty. That video should be coming out this week, hopefully, if I can get it edited in time. Other than that, I am grinding on my second channel hard, working away. I've got 2 videos completely done, wrapped and everything, edited and finished. And I'm working on number 3 right now. When number 3 is done, second channel will be launched. And the way the timeline is working out, I might be able to launch on my birthday.
Aww.
Which I thought would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So other than that, I'm doing a bunch of faceting for a fasting video. And I'm trying to think of what else. It's pretty much it. That's the paraphrasing version of all the random crap I've been doing over the last, I can't give any details about second channel because I want surprises.
We know a little
bit, yeah. The third one, I don't think I've told you guys about the third one. I'll tell you guys when we're done recording because it's awesome. I'm so excited about it.
Sweet. Well, thank you for sharing your last couple weeks, and give Karen a reprieve from the shouts. And it's not gonna be a big reprieve again because I didn't have a lot going on. I'll show you guys what I kind of did this week because it's been kind of not very productive. But I added containers to my
Ooh.
middle shelf, and they're all labeled. And so I got that all organized. I cleaned that up a little bit. My desk is so clean.
That's so nice.
That is beautiful.
So
Totally.
that was kind of my project for the week, was to get this.
That's funny that as you clean your shop, my shop is currently imploding.
I send it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Don't give it back.
It's like the cleaner your shop gets, the worse mine gets, I swear.
I've been on the fence about actually adding something to the shop here. I'm teeter-tottering with the idea of adding like shelves just underneath the cabinets here, to add like display shelves here and have it all the way across these shelves, the shelves back there, the shelves back there, and the shelves over there. And I've been on the fence about just like taking everything out of the rock room and just like consolidating everything here in the shop, so I don't have to have two spaces. I can just have one space. But I'm still not fully set on the idea yet, because my thought process is, oh, that'd be cool and all. But aside from a couple minerals that do not do very well with high humidity or heat, i.e. pyrite suns. I've had one just disintegrate before. It sucks. And the other thing is, what happens if someone breaks into the garage?
Big time.
It's a little bit harder to take big equipment out, but it's super easy to take small specimens out, or just a bunch of rock that look really pretty. So it's like, I have to weigh my options there. I like
That's why I have turrets.
Gun turrets.
I got turrets.
But yeah, other than that,
sorry. That should be a perfect window into what kind of way my brain is working the past 4 days.
but yeah, other than that was kind of my project for the week. Other than that, just staying busy with work and trying to stay as cool as I can, since it's been hot and muggy here in the valley. Today was just awful, but you know, it is what it is. But that was my week. Karen, how was yours?
Because you guys were hot and muggy, we were foggy, and it was so foggy that it felt like it was raining. You know, when there's just that much water that just everything is like instantaneously wet. So it was, yeah, it's been weird over here on the coast, but it's because that convection pulls the marine layer in and we get all fogged. My week, just another big, huge blur. And I am looking forward to this weekend. We're going to be delivering the last of the pups. So that'll be it. And so it's sad, but then at the same time, like, oh my gosh, I'm so behind on so many projects.
It's sad, but you get your life back.
Yeah, exactly. Lily for sure won't be having any more pups, because she got her surgery yesterday, and so yeah, it's been like that kind of week in that household. I did get a chance to prep a little bit on a shell that you guys will be seeing during our show and tell. Have we even told them about the subject yet?
I don't think we have.
If they didn't see the thumbnail, they have no idea where we're going.
Are we like 15 minutes in at this point? We're just now saying.
At least. Yeah, maybe more. Okay, well, we're not even just now saying it. I was just,
let's just not say it. We've gone this long.
To the fact that you're gonna
They've seen the title.
What it is. Yeah.
I was almost thinking that we should have two thumbnails. Have one thumbnail before we even have the video up, and then like have a second thumbnail after we
subject. I think that's what we're gonna have to do.
I
All right,
concur.
so yeah, that's it. So yeah, you'll see later.
I guess, I suppose,
for show and tell. That's what I was working on this week, and so it's just an ambiguous mess. And on to what's next.
Next, well, thank you for sharing a week for one. But next is the theme for tonight's podcast, which is fossils.
Woo!
So now
Everybody
everyone
loves
knows.
And
Surprise
it's going to
round.
be a 6-hour episode because there's so much to cover.
Right.
Don't
It
listen to
was
Paul.
so hard to just choose for tonight.
I
So
know, same here.
there will be a part two.
There will have to
on
be.
this
I think
Yeah.
I grab. Let's see. 12, 13.
Uh-oh.
So I brought 13 things with me. I sent pictures of 7 other things that I didn't bring with me, which so, and I barely touched the surface of fossils. That's the scary part. So
Yeah.
there has to be a part 2 because this is like it's nothing.
This is intro to fossils.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Well.
yeah, where do you want to start? Who do you want to start with?
Karen, you can go first.
Okay. Well, I thought that it might be a good idea to unpack really quick what is a fossil. It is in Latin obtained by digging, apparently, is the root of that Latin fossilis. And it's any preserved remains, impression, or trace of any once living thing from a past geological age. Examples include bones, of course, shells, exoskeletons, stone imprints of animals or microbes, and objects preserved in things like amber. It says hair. That's weird. Does anybody know about fossils that are preserved in hair?
No, that's weird.
Yeah, like
I have no idea.
go Wikipedia. Petrified wood, oil, coal, and DNA remnants and whatnot. So yeah, that's basically our definition that we're working on. In case I know a lot of people get a little tripped up on like footprints of dinosaurs and some of the trace
fossil,
fossils
still fossil.
Yeah, and so and because I wanted to keep what I'm presenting to everybody brief and Oregon related, I'm not going to pull out the trace fossils, all the ones that I have of those. The start is from last week. Everybody drinks Steinkerns, were one of my fossils that I shared with everybody. And I also love the fossil shells that you can find on the beach that are preserved. And so these guys have a matrix of bryozoans. And the way that they got there apparently is that these are the favorite shells that hermit crabs would move into after the gastropod was through inhabiting it. And so they'd grow these thick coverings of the bryozoans. And so that's a bryozoan layer. And then the concretion goes around it. And they polish up like this. Yeah, there's my table is all a mess. Or this guy here. Yeah. So you're the first person that gets to see the enamel in 16 million years or whatever. They're middle Miocene. All of our the fossils that we have here from the Astoria Formation. This is another one. This is a big fossil shell that has the bryozoan layer on it. And this is actually what I'm working on right now for an upcoming video. And so it's in the end polishing stage. You can see part of the shell is missing off of this one, but the fact that I found 2 of them this big, I mean, I know it's really big because I'm holding it up to the screen like this.
Everything
That's the size of your head.
But they're actually really big for our standards as far as the fossil shells go. So that's coming up. And so our fossil record is hugely shell oriented, but you can also find the marine, different marine animals like fish. Bony fish has a really specific lacy quality to it. And so you can see like that looks like filigree. It's got all these dainty, lacy little marks. Here's a vertebrae. And so that's the bony fish kind of bone, and you know the difference between, say, a mammal bone or something else, due to that kind of porous nature. Here's one that's in the concretion still, so you can see again, it looks like some kind of graffiti. That's a vertebrae, and then, or a vertebra, and then that's probably another one. So we have vertebrae. And then we move up the chain to, like, you can also find shark vertebra, and you go up to the small dolphins, the sea lions that are the early ancestors of the ones that we have around now. This is a whale rib, probably. And so
Nice.
this one I actually took to the Hatfield to have identified. I mean, you can see again, like, this is how big this is. Imagine this is just a section of rib for some fairly large creature.
That's so cool.
And then the insides are often gemmy. And so this one's got, it's been calcified, literally. It's got the calcite in it. So we find a fair amount of those kinds of bones that are pretty obviously, like, ribs do really well. And then again, we find lots of verts. And so here's one. This is unusual to find one that I didn't have to prep. And so I actually found this on the beach, this naked.
Dang, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. And so really interesting patterns. This is what you're looking for when you're out hunting, is just something that doesn't look like all the rest of the stuff. Like, that is such an unusual pattern. And then, that shape too. So that's what you're kind of looking for, stuff that's porous. And then by far and away, my favorite of my large specimens is this one. And we say prepped as far as, in a very, like, nonchalant way. That means to prepare a concretion or a bone that's in some kind of matrix, to take away the matrix so that you can see the fossil. So you prepare like little fish fossils, like those ones from the Warfield in Wyoming. So this is this way, and I can't decide whether I want to prep it or not, because that's such a cool looking, fossil coming out of the concretion.
I would almost leave it the way it is.
Right? So the rule, usually, you guys probably, and you out there probably agree with this, like, you'll keep something the way it is until you find a bigger one.
Yup. Yup.
Or better, or however you want to state that. And so of course, Paul over there has an air scribe. I'm needing to get one, and then probably none of my fossils are safe after that.
None of mine were, that's for sure.
Yeah, and so that's just a quick overview of things that you can actually find on the Central Oregon coast and other places along the Pacific coast as well. Different rules apply on what you can take and where you can take them from. So check in with the location, but it's interesting to be able to hold that kind of history from mostly extinct different marine animals that used to live out here. So yeah.
Well, thank you for showing your fossils and giving us information, because some of that I did not know.
What is it then?
So before we actually go over to Paul, Kurt did send us some show and tell clip. He's not with us tonight, so we're gonna go over to the clip over here and see what he has to say. So take it away, Kurt.
So sorry I'm missing this podcast, but I do have two show and tells I'd like to show you guys. So I'm going to flip over and show you the two pieces. Okay, so for the first piece is this brachiopod death plate. I found this out in one of the local parks around, I want to say, like eastern Louisville, Kentucky. These brachiopods, I believe, are from the Devonian time frame, which is like around 460 million years old. But it's one of my favorite pieces that I found. I was out hunting brachiopods, but individual pieces, and then I was like kind of digging and kind of grip this and pull this out. I was like, oh wow, cool. So that's what this looks like. Super cool. Love the detail on it. And I was actually thinking, and if I get your guys' opinions on this, should I polish the edges or just keep them nice, rough and raw? But let me know. And then the second piece is I have found a ton of crinoid segments, like individual segments, but this is the best crinoid stem that I've ever found. And this was found just north of the town, Elizabethtown, Kentucky, near Joe Prathner Highway, and in limestone. And it looks like, if you can zoom in, the center is agatized, so I bet there's some bands in there. But for the most part, there is little segments all throughout this, as you guys can see. And this is from the Quaternary period, which is around 2.588 million years old, I believe. So both very cool pieces. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. And again, sorry for not being able to make it to the podcast, but yeah, I hope everyone rocks on and has a fantastic weekend. Peace out.
Well, thank you, Kurt, for giving us your show and tell, and it was really nice to still see you, even though you weren't here. So thank you for your show and tell, kind sir. And now we can go to Theo, aka Paul. We know what you did.
So I wanted to start with these really quick because I thought it would be fun. So me and Derek the Rockmaster got into a very long philosophical, like, thought and provoking conversation because we asked the question of, if something is extremely old but not mineralized, is it technically a fossil, or is a fossil more generalized by age than technically like mineralization? And I say that because of this right here. This is a knobbed whelk. This is also a knobbed whelk. Want to know what the difference is with this one? This one's from the Miocene.
What?
And it still looks like that.
So well preserved.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And they're not mineralized. I mean, you can see the weathering on this one. That it's just a normal shell, like straight up. There's no mineralization past what the shell is already just made of. So we got into the like pondering question of, is it technically a fossil then? Because age-wise, it's absolutely should be a fossil, but it's not actually mineralized. This is not petrified. Like
it's just a shell.
Yeah, it's literally just a shell. You hold these two in your hands, and they feel nothing alike, like whatsoever. That being said, then you got one of these, which is also a knobbed whelk, also from the Miocene. This one's filled with calcite crystals. If I cut this in half, it would be filled with calcite. This one's absolutely mineralized, therefore absolutely, unquestionably a fossil. But does that mean this still isn't? Like, that was a weird question that yeah, that conversation was interesting because we both were like, well, yeah, wait, would it be? No, but yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I always love asking that question because, yeah, some of the shells in Florida, some of the fossil shells in Florida, I mean, if you found this on a beach, you wouldn't believe that it's, Miocene, which is millions of years old. Okay, so what I'm trying to think of the order I should go in, because I didn't really have any plan whatsoever because I was so out of it today.
Keep it easy for me, please.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to do all of the. I don't know what order I sent it in. I think it all got jumbled up, so I guess we'll just do this. So this is a baculite. This is probably the most common fossil in Montana.
So pretty.
The sutures are amazing.
That's a nice one there.
I love this one. It's pretty long too. It's actually It's a decent one. I have some bigger, but I didn't feel like bringing them because I don't. Yeah, the bigger it is, the more likely it is that it could break. Another one that people in Montana hunt for or hope for, I guess I should say, would be one of these. That is a beautiful
Hurts me
ammonite.
every time.
And this one has a cool story because it's this beautiful ammonite, really, really nice scaphite. But on the inside, this was the very, very outside of the concretion.
Wow.
Doesn't look like much. And this was all covered too. So literally all you could see was that right there. And I was like, oh, cool, little ammonite. I'll prep that. It'll probably be nice on the other side. Started prepping. Turns out that was just the inner coil. So
I'm not done yet.
So never count out any fossil because that doesn't look like much at all. But on the inside, that's such a nice scaphite on that side. I love it. The cool thing about these two fossils, wrong side. There we go. Show side, is they are both ammonites. A lot of people don't know that baculites are a species of ammonite. If you take an ammonite and unroll it straight, that is a baculite. Like
you
literally.
Just gotta wonder what happened there. Like, you know,
they got
one
scared
baculite got scared.
Oh, dude, ammonites have like one of the weirdest like variety of shapes in the world. There's I can never remember the species name off the top of my head, but it's literally it's called a paperclip ammonite, and it's like kind of like a baculite, but it goes out and then curves back, and then it curves back, and then it curves back, and then there's an opening on one end. It's like, what the heck? They're either coiled ones, like heteromorph ammonites are crazy. Speaking of ammonites, I wanted to talk about something. See that nice nacre shiny pearly layer?
Yeah.
On giant ones or little ones, this one actually probably would if I polished it, but on bigger ones, you can isolate that, and yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So good.
That is ammonite. I have a visual representation because I thought it would be fun to demonstrate. So yeah, ammonite, really, really nice Jimmy ammonite. Ammonite structurally is stacks of microscopic crystals of aragonite. And there is one other thing on this planet that can be described the exact same way. And that's abalone.
Aww.
How shiny
So,
it is.
Yeah,
I got a good polish on this one.
Yeah, you did.
This is my private. I keep this one. I usually sell on my other I almost said ammonite, abalone. This was my I get to keep this one abalone. But yeah. So when you really look at it that way, yeah, these things were pretty much just like ancient fossil abalones, which is cool to think about.
Fair.
Also, not nautiloids. A lot of people make that mistake. Ammonites are not nautiloids. They are very distinct and different from nautilus. I should have brought a nautilus for this demonstration. We'll talk about nautilus next time. So I wanted to also show this because I thought it was kind of cool. So in Florida, there's lots of different types of fossils. I'm sure I'm about to show one that everyone has heard of after this one. Can you tell me what this is?
What
is that a coral?
It's calcite coral.
That's
beautiful.
cool.
So it's perfect coral honeycomb structure, and it is covered in druzy calcite crystals, like all over the whole thing. It's so cool.
Yes.
I'm about to hold up another piece of coral, and cool thing to note about these is they're the exact same age.
Yeah, that's just such a
Nice.
crazy mind blow.
And that one's not forced perspective. This one's really that big. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Agonized coral, same age. I need to know how this happened. I actually don't have an explanation for the difference in formation. I know that with calcite, it has a lot to do with how calcium rich and carbonate rich the soil is. For another example I have, ancient clam, which actually is in line with that whelk I showed, because this is not mineralized in any way. Like, it just looks like a clam, just like a clamshell. So when these form inside of the matrix, which is just a bedrock of limestone filled with shells, some sediment can seep into the into the rocks, and if it is carbonate and calcium rich enough, you can get this.
Those
Aw,
cool crystals.
I
The
love
coolest
that.
of crystals. I sent a video, which will be playing right now as I say this. I was not about to bring that one home. That's my favorite piece that I own, but it's crazy fragile, and I don't want to travel with it. Other than that, I was going to talk about teeth, but I forgot all my teeth at the shop. So I forgot. All I have is this horse tooth, Ice Age Pleistocene horse tooth.
All I've got is this horse tooth.
All I got is this horse tooth. Oh, I guess I got this too, which I still haven't put away.
That's all you get.
All I got's a horse tooth and this.
Master
Oh
Dog.
man. So
Same
cool.
age. These are both Pleistocene, and they're both. I love them. They're my favorites. They're so nice.
They
I had
always
this-
remind me of the bottom of a boot. You know,
Right? Yes.
They're like
Like straight up.
muscles or something. Yeah.
I had this whole thing planned where I was going to talk about teeth and how teeth are like some of the best fossils and most common fossils because they're already mineralized even when an animal is alive. They're already densely mineralized. Therefore, they preserve extremely, incredibly well. And then I was going to show the differences in detail between different teeth, and I forgot them. So
Well,
Gonna
I have.
to be part duh.
I was gonna say I have a tooth I could show off.
there we go. I ripped my pants.
That's what
Aw.
SpongeBob said.
I think that's everything I brought.
Thank you.
I didn't want to
Thank
stress
you.
you out, Kyle, so I was like hammering through those.
Yeah, it was hard
What
to
we got
parse
here? We
down.
got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, still thank you anyways for showing and talking about the information that I also did not know because
No problem.
thank you. And that comes back down to me. I only have a couple, so it should be pretty easy. So I'll actually lead it off with a tooth. Let's see here, replace spotlight. Hello.
See, Kyle actually remembered his.
So I was gonna have a couple different shark teeth. I was gonna have like a really tiny shark teeth that's really like the size differences. But instead, I just kind of I think I might have showed this before too, maybe at some point. I have a big megalodon tooth,
Yeah, you do.
and when I used to kind of volunteer my time at a rock shop, I always had this vendor that would come in with like all this cool stuff, and he had megalodon teeth. I'm like, oh man, I always want one in my collection. This is $300 like wholesale, and I had to go to the bank to pull money out of savings. Like, I want it. Like, I don't care. Like, I want it. Like the serrations on this thing are just like near pristine. And like, because sometimes you do have to be careful because there are fakes out there. Like people.
There's lots of fakes.
Yeah. But just like by observing it like closely, it doesn't look to be fake at all. I'm like, yeah, I want this in my collection because it is really hard to find like nice whole megalodon teeth. Just because they are very prone to actually like breaking like straight down the center. I almost grabbed a few of those, for example, but I just didn't. But yeah, I got this. I'm like, I just need to keep this up safe. Like, I try not to drop it here during the podcast because that would really suck. But it'd also be really cool to have like a big necklace, just like
That'd be great.
But yeah, it's crazy to think that they actually get bigger than this. Like,
yeah,
the bigger that these teeth get, the more expensive they get. If you're a collector, if you want to collect them, and the more perfect they are, the more expensive they get. Like, I think I got lucky with this one, and yeah, it's one of my favorite pieces in my collection. I probably won't sell it. No. I forgot to write my time down. Dang it. I'll improvise here. It's fine. No big deal. All right. And the second item that I brought, and I don't know how this happens because I didn't read up on it. I just thought it was cool because I got it for a pretty awesome deal. I went, and I think I actually showed this before in a previous like show and tell, but still, I can't help it. It's one of my one of the cooler things in my collection. I got this about $1, give or take. There was a rock sale, and they had like this big bin out there, and everything was $1 pound. And I saw this. That's all I saw. I'm like, oh, I gotta get that. Like, throw that in my bucket, call it good, paid for it. I'm like, hey, I found this out in the pile. Oh man, they were pretty jealous. And like, oh, you should have checked your bucket. But what this is, so this is it's dino bone. That's the knuckle.
Mm-hmm.
But on the inside, I got a video too. It's pyretized. The cells are pyretized.
And so cool.
You guys will actually get like a better video than this.
Wow.
This camera sucks. But yeah.
That's a great story too.
And it wasn't this polished up. Like it was kind of meh. And let me tell you what, polishing dinosaur bone is actually pretty easy. Polishing pyretized dino bone, it's a little finicky because you're trying to polish pyrite, and pyrite is very, very, very finicky. I believe I actually had to use the high-speed buffer wheel that I typically would use for like polishing like my knives or silver, and it actually worked. But yeah, it's an awesome piece just to add to my collection because I've always wanted like a even just like the smallest of like pyretized like dinosaur bone because it was cool. And then I found this for $1. I'm like, oh, it was worth it.
I'll buy that for $1.
But yeah, that was basically my show and tell. It would be cool to actually like get a couple slabs of like pyretized dino bone that was stable enough to do some like knife handles out of.
Wow.
So I think
if
I can find something like that, like I would probably be carrying around a pocket knife with me every day. Like I haven't carried around a pocket knife in like several years at this point because I just had not found that perfect stone to put into a knife handle to carry around every day to be like, hey, look what I made. So someday, or even like a meteorite that has like all the olivine crystals in there. That'd be really cool too. But that'd be so expensive. That'd be like this, like a show is like, hey, you can look, but you can't touch. But yeah, that was mine. And go back to here. Boop. All right. And I guess that does it for our show and tells. Now we get into words of wisdom. Karen, we'll start with you.
Breathe. That is my word of wisdom. Is when you know everything is just really like you were talking about imploding. Well, he's talking about other things right now, Paul, but like the implosion rate of the earth and around you, the chaos, and like just breathe. So many moments of so many days lately. Double inhale in, one long exhale out actually will give you a true reboot. So breathe, keep breathing.
That was very well said. Thank you. Senior Paul, what do you got?
Mine it would be, after all the stuff I've been doing for my second channel, I would say my words of wisdom this week are embrace entropy. Because stuff has been just crazy and I've been having a blast because I've just been winging it and things have been going wrong. And then I just continue on in that wrong thread and it somehow works out. And it's just more fun that way. I'll explain when the channel comes out. I can talk a little bit more about what specifically I mean. But yeah, it's just been fun.
Right on.
Well, thank you for your words of wisdom. That comes back down to me. I'm just going to keep it pretty basic. Drink a lot of water. It's still hot out there. We're still in the summertime, at least for our US friends. I think our Australian friends might be in winter, I think. So if you're in Australia, drink something warm. But for us, drink something cold and stay hydrated. And that's my word.
That is so wise. Thank you, Kyle.
But if you'd be so kind to take us out.
Wow. So thank you so much for hanging out for the fossil special. Obviously, it's a total cliffhanger under a lot of sedimentary rocks, so that we're going to have to revisit it also very soon. Get part 2 so that we can see Paul's teeth, so he doesn't have to just be.
I have so much back at the shop that I did not bring because I knew we had to keep it short, and I still probably failed that. I should have brought like 4 things and talked more about them, but
It's okay. It's fine.
my eyes are bigger than my stomach. I'm sorry.
leave it in the comments how much you missed all that. And since we're doing the themes, if you feel like you know of one that would be great for us to cover, go ahead and leave those in the comments also. Meanwhile, we're ready for your show and tells. I think we're probably getting pretty full, and so why don't you send us your show and tells with a brief description over to our email address that's in the description of this video, and we will feature it on our next viewer show and tell. That same email address, you can send an if you'd like to be on our Discord, go ahead and send us that, and we'll send you an invitation back. And you can join us all week long for the show and tells and all of the chatter that goes on in between podcasts with all the fans that you see in the chat bar and whatnot. So until next week, get out there and do some awesome rock hounding. Enjoy this end of the summer and rock on. Thanks for watching.
Bye.